Well, good morning. This is Quindy. This is not going to be our regular relic hunting or eyeballing Native American artifacts. We'll do a little history. I try once a year or so to do a little history, and the last one I did, Mr. John Wagner Jr., longtime friend, and basically he's a historian from this area. He helped me do Smith County in the Civil War. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, but John is a foremost authority on old cemeteries in Middle Tennessee and even out of state, and also he was hunted a lot of Native American artifacts, hadn't you, John? And he's an authority on that, and if I find something I can't identify, then I'm looking for John or Steve Thaxton, because one of them will know something about it. John was also instrumental in helping set up the Smith County Museum and Archives, and if you're anywhere around Carthage, Tennessee, check their website for hours, but he's helped a whole lot with that. And he's also helped the Tennessee trio of Doug, Josh, and me, and we've got literally hundreds of Civil War relics in display boxes directly and attributed to John's knowledge of this area. So we've known each other for a long time, and today we're going to give you a little bit of history. Also, Steve Thaxton's helped us locate Civil War stuff. And John, when Steve says the old folks said that the Yankees camped there, you better get your metal detector, hadn't you?
That's right.
So we're going to start off with a little Revolutionary War from Smith County situation that John's going to talk about first. Hang with us. Okay, here at the cemetery, you got family buried here, right, John?
Yeah, I got a fifth, fourth, and third great-grandparents buried here.
And the earliest marker that you can tell is around 1802 or something?
Yeah, the Bible records show the first burials here about 1809. Marked stones a little bit later than that.
Okay.
It's been well over 100 years since anybody's buried here.
Yeah. So the Revolutionary War soldier is buried in this cemetery?
Yes, William Haney. Would you like to see his tombstone?
We'll walk over there.
We'll walk over there.
Here's a Revolutionary War soldier. John, talk about Mr. William Haney here.
Well, Mr. William Haney is my fifth great-grandfather. He was a Revolutionary soldier, and as a result, he got a land grant. This property we own here, he got 640 acres for his service, and he spent his life here until he died around 1825. And about 3 or 4 years ago, the Sons of the American Revolutionary marked his gravestone with this mark and put a Patriot thing, and we had over 200 people here for that service. They was here from Texas and Ohio and Indiana and Florida, many states to honor him.
That's really nice.
His wife buried next to him is Ann Bradley. She's the daughter of James Bradley from over in the Dixon Springs area, who was also a Revolutionary
All right.
soldier.
So that covers the Revolution. Now we got a little 1812, War of 1812 to talk about here in a second.
Okay.
Okay, John, what's the 1812 connection here?
Okay, we got the son of Mr. William Haney. This is Major Elijah Haney, and he was a veteran of the War of 1812, and his grave has been marked with a star here for his service.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
And next to him, his wife is Clarkie. She was a Beasley. She was the daughter of Isom Beasley, which was a prominent early settler in Smith County.
Yes.
Clarkie was a daughter, and her name came from his service in the Revolutionary. He was on a dusty road one day, and he was hot and thirsty, and a little girl stopped and gave him a drink of water. He asked her what her name was, and she said Clarkie. He said, if I ever have a daughter, said I'm going to name her Clarkie.
Well,
And this is her.
That's pretty cool. All right. John, you got a real unusual tombstone here we want to look at.
Yes. Probably foreground better from the other side.
Yeah, we'll get over here.
It's leaning that way.
Yeah.
The writing's on
Okay, explain what the deal is with this one, John.
This is a kind of a rare tombstone. I only know of 4 or 5 of them in Smith County. It's what's called a neck disc. This is a disc and this is the neck. And this is it's kind of prominent in the counties of Overton, Putnam, White counties. You see several of them. There may be 80 or 90 of them up there. But when you get to Smith County, like you say, you got 5 or 6, and then no further west you don't find any more in Tennessee.
Oh, that's really odd.
And the only place you find them after this is in southern Illinois. There's people writing a book on these stones now, showing the family relationships of people that lived here and moved to southern Illinois and kept this type stone.
Okay, that's
and
really
it's usually
interesting.
from the 1850 era.
So it was popular at that time for some group of people then.
It's
okay.
a cultural tribute to one
All right.
people.
Okay, thanks, John. Okay, here's the subject of the video really John's going to talk about, but here in Smith County, the Yankees occupied in early 1862, they occupied Nashville, Gallatin, Hartsville, and Carthage. Carthage was strategic because it was on the Cumberland River, and they had navigation, they had boats that could come up and down the river. And so feelings was kind of hard here for between the Yankees and the local population, because this was predominantly Confederate in here, and a lot of the people here had their sons and relatives in the Confederate Army. So also the Yankees in Carthage were cutting down all the trees for wood, and they would make foraging trips around and they'd steal hams, or confiscate they called it. So it wasn't really good feelings between the Yankee soldiers here and the local population. So John, you take it from there. Now this person here was a Civil War soldier, right?
Yeah, this was James Haney, and he came home for Christmas and recruited several men to go back with him at the first of the year, go back to these soldiers. And one of them decided if he killed James that he wouldn't have to go. He changed his mind, and so he killed him. And they was having a Masonic funeral here for James, and they looked coming out the road, and here come a troop of Union soldiers mounted on horseback. Well, they thought maybe they was in trouble, would be some kind of problems. But when they got here, the leader of the patrol,
lieutenant or whatever
officer it was, saw it was a Masonic funeral, and he was also a Mason, so he lined his troops up as an honor guard for the soldier.
And they removed their hats and showed respect.
Showed respect.
That's respect during the Civil War, John.
The main road probably came by the cemetery at the time. It's across the creek now, but I think the main road coming, they was just on a routine patrol, and they found them here.
That's an interesting story, John, yeah. And I appreciate you telling us all this, and because I've always found that fascinating that they would actually stop, remove their hats, and form an honor guard for their enemy.
I found several places in Smith County where they showed respect, but it's usually because of the Masonic service.
Right. Well, John, I appreciate you talking with us today, and we'll try to get together next year and do another one.
Okay, thank you.